We are back with another retro emulation console straight out of China being sold on Amazon. I know that's kind of weird, but it is what it is. They get away with it for whatever reason. A lot of people are interested in these types of devices, and we've looked at quite a few, and quite a few that's in almost the identical packaging. I'm told that this is another new version that's been, kind of hooked up and more presentable type of thing. So let's take a look at what we got. We got our standard PS2 controllers with the dongle action in there. They're very cheap controllers, always say this, but they're serviceable, they're passable if that's all you got type of thing. But yeah, you put, I believe, 2 AAAs and the little dongle and you're good to go. So there's that. They're very light, but they get the job done. Not the worst controller in the world. Let's see what else we got in here. A whole lot of stuff. What else is in there? A remote, because it's an Android box. That's what these guys do. They sell you a cheap Android box, preloaded with games type of thing. That's where we're at. We got HDMI cable. The remote that we're not going to use because we're only going to use the Emulation side. Hey, this actually has an on-off button on this one. Most of them that I've looked at, they don't have an on-off button. That's actually a plus. 2 gigs of RAM, X2 model. Okay. And then we got this little, micro SD card reader, 256 gigabyte version build here. So I'm assuming since this board doesn't have a SD card reader, we got to use that. Why is there a piece of tape on there? That's weird. What is this? How to download games from the Kinhank server. Oh, shit. They have like a server you can go on. I don't know if I would well, you just FTP in. They give you directions on here on how to download ROMs from them, I'm assuming. Or this could be like I'm not going to do this. It says, but first thing, disable any antivirus on your computer. What? We can guarantee that everything in our server is clean and free from malware. That's nuts. I've never seen that with these guys. Maybe I just haven't noticed it before, but okay. They're giving you access to their servers, which I don't know that I would trust. But yeah, okay. Emulation is free, not for sale. This has taken a hell of a long time to do anything. Oh, there we go. All right, now that we're all booted up, we see we have 107,833 games on this build. And I've already scrolled through, kind of peeping some things out to, kind of keep this video down a bit. But what I wanted to do is test a few things to see, how the performance, is with this device. I do like this theme that they're using, and I like that they have categories for a lot of the arcade stuff. So we're not going to test everything out. Like, your Super Nintendo, NES stuff, that's all going to work fine. But let's test out a few different things here. Check out a cave game real quick, see what kind of performance we get here. But after having scrolled through, the typical ROM dump nonsense is still very apparent here. Your Super Nintendo, your Sega Genesis, Super Famicom had like 15,000 games in it. It makes absolutely no sense. I really don't get that, but it'll be like 10 of the same games. So obviously that 107,000 is like not legit. There's nowhere near that amount of games on here because there's so many duplicates. Oh, I was using the D-pad for a second and that did not feel very responsive, but the analog stick seems to be working fine. This is a pretty cool game, but yeah, there you go. Arcade stuff. You really shouldn't have an issue, but let's get out of there. But you'll possibly find stuff that doesn't load, but it is a good sign when you see, arcade stuff being separated like this. You got your IGS, IRAM, MAME, Siccio, bunch of Atari consoles. Let's see what else. The Test, our CPS 1, 2, and 3 look like they were legit with the quantity of games. Amiga CD32, what do we got? 81 games here. This is always hit and miss. Sometimes these games load, sometimes they don't. But let's try something. Super Frog. This fool moves fast. He's like Sonic the Hedgehog or something. Holy crap. Dude, he busted open the wall just like Sonic does. A frickin' Sonic clone. That's funny. What else do we got? Our MSX. There's some cool stuff on MSX. Numbers are kind of high on that, but there was a lot of games for those. PC Engine, same thing. They kind of like, you know, have some duplicates. PC Engine CD, there's only 2 games. Super Graphics is a ROM dump. Should only be 5 games, but it has PC Engine games, Turbo Graphics listed in there. Famicom, thousands of games. NES, same thing. Like there should be half of that, but they're duplicates. Hacks, there's like almost 3,000 games in here. A lot of them are like weird boo-boo-ness, but you know, multiples, duplicates. So boosting up those numbers because a big, you know, game count will entice people, right? Super Famicom, 14,380 games. That's nuts, dude. N64, let's test the game out. We got 256, so they did dwindle that down a bit. Yeah, the music sounded a little jank. Yeah, some minor slowdown here and there. Glitches on the overhead thing there. So yeah, N64, it's going to be hit and miss, man. Don't buy this thing expecting to play Nintendo 64 games. Like, you're going to find, like, some run okay, but then you'll find some stuff, like, your favorite game doesn't run and you'll want to punch a baby. I mean, it's just the way it is. DS, let's find something real quick. Okay, well, here we go. The game runs fine on here, but using Drastic, normally they have a hotkey set up to get into the Drastic menu, and I cannot figure out what they have it set to. Because all I do is keep exiting the emulator trying to figure it out because I wanted to swap the screens around and none of the like keys, the buttons are set to that. But yeah, Nintendo DS, you're not going to have a problem, but you're going to want to try to figure out resetting up Drastic hotkeys so you can manipulate the screen a bit. Then we got 14 games in 3D. Oh, this one's always hit and miss. Let's do one of my favorites, Samurai Showdown. Audio's coming through a little chip chap and a little quiet. I forgot about that. It's always, man, 3DO on these systems, they're always kind of wonky. Some games will run kind of okay, and then some will have issues. Like this, Samurai Showdown, we don't got a background. We're fighting in space. Samurais in space, dude. They have Need for Speed? Yes, they do. Let's see if it's actually Need for Speed. This is not a good sign. What is it with these fucking consoles putting this damn dating game on here? Instead, so this is like a Japanese dating puzzle game type thing? Or Mahjong or something? I don't remember. This is ridiculous. Need for Speed, you get the Need for Speed bezels. Why do they keep doing that? They get this all from the same source and they just ROM dump them. Uh-oh. Yeah, enough of that. A Thomas Wave. But yeah, let's check out Samurai Spirits. All right, maybe this time this game will have background graphics, right? I'm hearing some slowdown in the audio. Yeah, the game is running slow, but it looks good. This almost seems fine, but it seems slightly slow. Like the volume's all the way up, but the sound is pretty quiet on this game for some reason, or on this emulator anyway. But the sound sounds okay. Sometimes with these games though, they might seem like almost okay at first, but the further you get in, you'll start getting graphics glitches type of thing. So you never know 100%. I always have to say it, like with these kinds of setups, man, if it's, lower powered, Android box, don't really expect a lot, especially if it's not optimized. But Dreamcast, let's check this out. All right. Oh, there you go. Dreamcast, can't say everything's going to run great because saw like a Thomas Wave wasn't running everything great. And, usually between all those, you're going to have hit and miss stuff. Naomi should be the same thing. All right, this game took a hell of a long time to load up, but we're finally in it. I don't think these chains are supposed to be flowing through the bottom of the floor like that. So performance might be kind of okay, but you're going to have some glitches. Just a good example of what to expect. When you hope something's going to run perfect and it doesn't. Oh, we do have Neo Geo CD on here. 39 games. I always loved playing World Heroes in the arcade. And the CD versions, they have that CD audio. So some people may prefer them that way. But playing on the original console, dude, the load times are horrendous. But via emulation, you're not going to have too much of an issue, playing any Neo Geo games. So, yeah, Neo Geo CD is going to be fine, just like the standard Neo Geo. PSP, what do we got? 283 games. Looking like a lot of minis. See if there's anything that's not a mini. Oh, they have God of War on here. There is no way. Very low FPS. It almost seems playable, though. So, they got to have frame skip on. Okay, I don't want to go too far into this, but it's kind of surprising to see that it plays decently well, but they got to have some settings going on, frame skip and whatnot. If you're fine with that, you may have some fun with PSP. And that looks to be about it as far as the games. Get down to Supervision. PS1, we're not going to have any freaking issues with this whatsoever. You got to be kidding me if you think you will. PS1 typically always works fine, including on your mom's 5. You know what's up. But there you go. PS1, like I said, we're not going to have issues with this. But yeah, my final thoughts on this. It's typical of every other machine that I've gotten from Amazon. It's a ROM dump. There's going to be things on there that don't really belong because it's just not capable enough to play them. It's going to be hit and miss with a lot of systems. If you're fine with 8, 16-bit stuff, handhelds, and that's it, then okay, but you could do that on cheaper devices. Plenty of cheaper devices. You could, buy one of these boxes, just an Android box, and get an Emulex set up for it, for cheaper than what they're charging for these things. But I know some people, they just want something complete, ready to go. I just think these things are a ripoff. It's a cheap Android box that's pre-set up, and I know people are kind of into those things because they don't have the time or the know-how to set something up themselves. But when you could buy something like this for like $20 and do it yourself, I think it's worth it. But, you know, if people are into these, like, hey, it's already ready to go. It's got thousands of games. But I just wish, like, if they were actually keep getting away selling these things, they would put some effort into them, you know, but they don't because people buy them. Instead of having thousands upon thousands of duplicate games saying, hey, we got over 100,000 games on here when you really don't, like, then it'd be kind of cool, you know? It'd be like, oh, this is a little shady, but hey, this thing is awesome. I mean, for what it is, it's not horrible. I just really, you know, wish these people would actually put effort into their shenanigans with these Soldier Boy'd up systems, but they don't. This is what it is. Let me know what you think. Bye.